let's look at some other aspect. The sisters here, they would want to know if women can perform itikaf. The sisters can perform itikaf. Can they or can they not? The answer is yes, they can. In fact, it is sunnah for them to do so. It is both sunnah for men and women. What is the proof for that, and why do we say that? Everything we say, it has to have evidence from Quran and Sunnah. And the scholars gave evidences why women should do itikaf and how they should do itikaf. And briefly, I'll just discuss it here. But for a woman to do itikaf, there are some conditions that must be met. So what are these conditions? There are 3 conditions here. First condition is that if she wants to do itikaf in the masjid, for example, she needs to take permission, of course, from her wali. And we have this concept, a system of wali in Islam. She needs permission. She, for example, a father, or if she's married, she has to take permission from the husband. So this is one of the conditions. And the second condition is that her itikaf should not cause fitna or trial in the masjid. For example, like some small masajids, if all brothers and sisters are doing itikaf, that could be a problem, right? I mean, there will be like privacy concern, there's space restriction, and brothers and sisters, they might not be comfortable with it. So we have to make sure that if sisters want to do itikaf, it is a nice place, it is appropriate for them. And also, sisters should not be in their monthly menses period. This is very similar to the other rulings in the masjid. They are not permitted to enter masjid if they have the menses. That's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created them. So this is the same ruling that applied to them. But if we look at the itikaf of the mother of the believers, Ummahatul Mu'mineen, who are these? The wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they used to perform during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They used to perform itikaf in the Masjid Nabawi in Medina, and in fact, they performed even after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away. And there's this hadith actually. One time, what happened? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as usual in Ramadan, he decided to make itikaf, and when he asked people to help him out with pitching a tent there for itikaf, he did that. And so one of his wife also had her tent in the masjid as well. So other wives, he had many wives, right? So other wives also decided that they want to spend itikaf. When all of them did that, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was not happy about it. He said, "Is it righteousness that you seek? Is this righteousness that you are seeking?" So he said, he ordered the tents to be taken out, his as well and all the wives as well. So he did not observe itikaf in that particular Ramadan. So why did he do that? Because you see, if all his wives are doing itikaf in the masjid, they will be close to him or with him doing itikaf. So the basic purpose of itikaf was getting lost for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because it's as if like that is his home, right? Itikaf means you cut off from the world and you live isolated in isolation in the masjid. So if all wives are with him, then it is no longer itikaf kind of, because that definition is not being met. So, and also Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he thought that the intention of the wives was not proper. So when you are making itikaf, you have to be very, very particular about your intention, that you are only doing this for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam thought that they were doing itikaf because as a sort of competition or as a sort of spending more time with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that their intention was probably not right. So that's why he said nobody is doing itikaf. Anyways, more important question: when should we perform itikaf? When is the right time to perform itikaf? Generally speaking, itikaf can be performed any time of the year. There is absolutely no restriction. You can do itikaf anytime. You can do today, yesterday, in Ramadan, Shawwal, Dhul Hijjah. There's no problem at all. However, the best time is to do in Ramadan, i'tikaf. And in particular, you have to do it in the last 10 days of Ramadan. That had been the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the main purpose of i'tikaf in doing the last 10 days is what? Is to seek Laylatul Qadr that we have. Inshallah, if we have time, we will talk next week maybe about Laylatul Qadr. But this is the main purpose. You have to get lots and lots of benefits and extract everything from those 10 days of 10 nights of Laylatul Qadr. And it was in many hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari, we have that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam consistently used to perform i'tikaf in the last 10 days of Ramadan until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took his life. And what's the evidence that we can do it anytime? In Shawwal, for example. So remember this hadith that I just mentioned, that he said that he had his tent taken off and all his wives' tents taken off. That year he did not do in Ramadan, but however he made it up in Shawwal. So the month after that, he in Shawwal 10 days he made i'tikaf. So that's the thing that you can do in any day, not necessarily in Ramadan. That's the proof that scholars give. And he also sometimes, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, performed i'tikaf in the first 10 days of Ramadan, and sometimes he also did in the middle of Ramadan. So any time is okay, even the weekends is okay. What's the minimum duration though? How many days do you have to make your i'tikaf? Minimum. What's the minimum? Minimum duration is 1 day and 1 night. That's the minimum that you can do. And what's the proof of that? That's the same hadith that I mentioned above about Umar radiallahu anhu, that when he said, Ya Rasulullah, I made a vow to make i'tikaf for 1 day. So Rasulullah said that you must fulfill that in 1 day and 1 night. So that's how we get that opinion. Right. And Rasulullah in the what's the maximum duration though? How long can you extend if you want to? Well, if you look into all the sunnahs, all the hadith that we know of i'tikaf, we know that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he performed 20 days of i'tikaf. When was that? It was the last year of his life. It was also the year when Jibreel alayhi salam, he made him recite Quran how many times? Twice, right? Every year he comes and listens to him once, one Quran complete in Ramadan. But in last year, because that was his last year, he made him recite it twice. The whole Quran was finished twice. And also his i'tikaf was also 20 days, not 10 days. So that is the reason. And also scholars said that he missed one previous year's 9th Hijri probably. He missed i'tikaf, so he wanted to make it up. So some scholars said that that's why he did 20 days. But generally speaking, we should stick to the sunnah. Some people might be like, oh, I do a lot of sins, so I want to do lots and lots of i'tikaf. So if we stick to the sunnah, inshallah, we get the blessings. I have to tell that really, really, really clearly, that Islam does not encourage, like living off the world and completely live like in a forest or live a life of monk. That is not what Islam teaches. Islam teaches balance in our lives. We have to give time to the world, we have to give time to our family, we have to give time to our worship. So this is a spiritual training for you. You cannot have this kind of training throughout the year, for example. That's not what Islam teaches. If there was something good in it, Rasulullah would definitely tell his companions to do that, and he himself would perform it, but he did not do that. And all through the history, what we see, the scholars, the Sahaba, the Tabi'un, they never did extended duration of time. Most of them would do here and there i'tikaf, the Ramadan, 10 days mostly. That's what they stick to. And we also know that a hadith that, that one time 3 people came and one of them said that, I will not sleep throughout the night, I will just pray. And some of them said, I will just fast continuously. And so one of them said that I will not marry, I just want to worship and worship. What did Rasulullah say? He was not happy with what they said. He said, follow my religion. I fast and I also break my fast. There are days where I don't fast, and I also marry, and I also sleep, and there are days where I pray Qiyamul Layl. So we have to maintain balance. And another thing that people ask, what's the starting time for Itikaf? The strongest opinion is that you have to start it before sunset, before Maghrib Salah. That's when you come in. That this is the opinion of all the 4 Imams, by the way. They all said that you have to start before sunset. Some scholars said that you can do it after Fajr prayer. You have to do it after Fajr prayer. They have their hadith for that proof, like Shaykh Ibn Baz rahmatullah, he said that. But the hadith basically says that when Prophet ﷺ intended i'tikaf, he would pray Fajr and then enter into his i'tikaf place. But what the other scholar said, that he actually started his i'tikaf after or at Maghrib Salah, and then he was involved in worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the masjid. But when the time of Fajr prayer came, he went to his place of i'tikaf, his tent, and he rested there, or he was doing worship there. So basically it's before sunset. That's when i'tikaf starts. And also, what's the ending time? Similarly, if you want to end your i'tikaf, you have to wait until the Maghrib Salah is over, and then you finish your i'tikaf. And if you want to extend it till the morning Fajr prayer, that is okay as well.